Patrick Cave. I'm General Manager here at the Bell. We have the honour of being the largest community pub in Britain. So I've worked here for a number of years. I've been General Manager for 3 years. The then owner, who'd had it for 25 years, this place, and made a great success of it, suddenly put it on the market. And immediately there was concern around here in the community because it's a very unusual, iconic spot, and people didn't want to lose this.
I called the meeting at which the co-operative was formed, or at which we first started talking about the possibility of this buyout. I've worked here for 20 years, a lot of my friends are here. I book the music for the pub, so I have a particular relationship with the people who play here, but also with the audience. It was too good a thing to let it slip by, really.
I'm on the board of the Bell, and I also work for Bath Fringe Festival, and we have our office behind us. You can see the steel door behind me there. I've been involved in co-ops because I'm involved in Bath Fringe as a co-op, and also I'm involved in a housing co-op. So immediately me and my colleague Steve thought it's got to be a co-op.
Every member, which is every shareholder, had an equal vote, so that larger shareholders or members didn't have more power than others. The idea is to bind it into the local community for many years to come.
The Bell Inn is one of those places that has an immediate presence. As soon as I walked in, I thought, they're going to do it. And they decided that going down the community share route would be the right option for them. What I didn't realise was that Patrick, the manager, was a novelist. He writes children's stories, and he's a natural storyteller. So when the share offer came out, I mean, it was just brilliant. It really just did tell the community its own story about why the pub had to be bought by themselves and by the community.
Because the business was already on the market when we started this process of researching it, so we knew this business was going to be snapped up by potentially chain pubs, so we had a very short time span to raise enough money. The asking price was £925,000. A lot of money to raise, and it meant in the end that by the time we'd put out our share offer document that we had just 5.5 weeks to raise enough money, and in fact we managed to raise £787,000 over that time, which is an astonishing result. During the 5.5 weeks we got worried we weren't going to do it, but the key to it was to keep a high profile the whole time, to do lots of media stuff, to keep it in the public consciousness.
Some of our regulars, some of the people involved in the campaign decided to stir up some well-known local musicians in order to make statements about how important they felt the Bell and places like the Bell were to music. Our website was running endorsements from Robert Plant and Peter Gabriel and people with connections to the city, people who knew what this place was. I won't pretend that they're regulars, but they have both set foot in here previously. So that was important in terms of we got quite a bit of national and even international press in the end, and I think it was the musicians that made that happen. At the other end of the scale from those millionaires, you know, several people who play in here who I know aren't rich are also members, so they considered it was important enough to say this is a venue that they put their own money into it.
I love the place, I play in a band here, so I've been coming here since the 1980s, and I just couldn't bear the thought of anything happening to it, so I stuck my hand up to help. I was company secretary for a while, then treasurer, then suddenly chair, and I've been chair for the last year and loved every minute of it.
I volunteered about a month ago, so I've only been in the chair position for 2 weeks. But one of the first things we did, having witnessed how much work Sue had to do last year and all the other board members, was that we had joint positions, so I actually am joint chair.
I was basically overseeing the restoration to the front, which was the first job to be done after the Bell was bought by the public. I convinced Ian Wood, the original owner, to let me make the swinging bell, which is made out of resin and bronze powder on the front. And just as I'd made it, he sold the place. So that was the beginning of it. I wanted to get involved in it, and so I just bullied my way in, basically.
We particularly pride ourselves in giving support to up-and-coming local culture and all the new generations coming through. We've got a function room out the back, we call it the Love Lounge, and we use it particularly to draw in local bands. We've got an open mic night, and we have bands like Stevie Jo's band, who are rehearsing today. She used to come to open mic night and sort of cut her teeth on that when she was in her mid-teens, and now her band is starting to take off and go places, and we're delighted to give that sort of support to new cultural generations coming through. And these are going to be the people that make the Bell and Walcot special in the future.
It's a very special venue in the local music scene. specifically because it focuses on original music. It's been a stalwart of local bands. Local bands who are writing their own material need somewhere to perform to an audience that will listen to it and to develop the music. So in that sense, these venues such as the Bell are absolutely crucial.
When people come into the pub, you know, there's a lot of pride. They have a lot of pride in that they've bought into something very special, and you know, they feel like they part own it, and that's a great thing. Yeah.
I kind of like the fact that you can go away from here for 10 years and then come back, and you really haven't missed much. But if it wasn't here, I think I'd miss a lot.
When you know the Bell better, you realise that the fanfare never dies down here. I mean, the fanfare hasn't died down here for years. It's only been enhanced by this, really. We're such a vibrant centre of the community. It's added now a little extra pinch of magic because there's so much goodwill. People are very proud to have been involved in this. We've become a sort of a flagship model of how this can work, and we just go from celebration to celebration, really. Yeah, it's great.